Hey guys, so today's a review day, and I'm just going to quickly recap right now what I want you guys to do during this period, what you need to do for homework, and I guess how to take the next step forward. So the first thing I want to say is if you aren't caught up on your homework, if you haven't done all of the video assignments and those tours off the website that were due today, you need to, when this video is over, instead of doing the review packet, you need to go on the website and get caught up on those tours because you really can't do the work unless you've seen that material. So let's do a quick review. We began by learning what sine, cosine, and tangent are in terms of definitions, right? SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over adjacent. Cosine is adjacent over, I said that wrong. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent, of course, is opposite over adjacent. We learned these ratios and then we began to apply them. And the first way we apply them was through our special triangles. So let's quickly review those. So there was two kinds of special triangles, right? You've got your 30, 60, 90, and you've got the 45, 45, 90. And of course, if we're going to use numerical or numbers for the sides, we know the 45, 45, 90 looks something like 1, 1 square root of 2, where this angle and this angle, these are both 45 degrees. And for the 30, 60, 90, we know that relationship. The side across from the 30 is going to be our 1. The side across from the 60 is the square root of 3. And the side across from the 90 is 2. So however you build that triangle, knowing where those numbers are located is pretty helpful. So across from the 30, I know that's my 1 because it's the smallest angle and the smallest side. Across from my 60, the square root of 3 is in between 1 and 2. And then across from the 90, I have my 2. And using these special right triangles, we should be able to have memorized, or not necessarily memorized, but just know, I guess, just the same way you know what 3 times 4 is. You know 3 times 4 is 12 because you've memorized it, but you also know why, because that's 3 4s, right, added together. So the same with this. Knowing the sine, cosine, and tangent of 30 degrees, 60 degrees, and 45 degrees is something we do want to memorize, but we also want to know why it works. So looking over at our special triangle, I can say right away that the sine of 30 degrees is 1 over 2 because I go to the opposite. So I find my 30, I go to the opposite side, and I find the hypotenuse, and I build that ratio. And so that you're going to be asked for those today. And use your special triangles to figure out what those ratios are. Okay, let's hit 2 more things, and then we'll get you to work. So another thing we discussed was how can we use trig functions to find missing sides in triangles. And so we went outside, and we actually calculated the height of the building, if you remember. And so if we know this distance here, so we have some number of x here, and we know this angle, we'll call this angle y, we can calculate all the sides of this triangle using just that information. And so let's say that this x value, let's actually plug in a number, let's say that was 10, for example. And let's say that our angle, let's just pretend that was, oh, I don't know, 45. Well, this is a special triangle, right? So that means this one up here must be 45, and it's a 1-to-1 correspondent of the legs, so this must be 10. And then this up here would be 10 square roots of 2. 10 square roots of 2. And so now we know all the different sides because it was a special triangle. But if it wasn't a special triangle, you could have easily used the tangent of 45, the cosine of 45, or the sine of 45 to find those missing sides. And that's something we learned about. And if you recall, that's when we went outside and found the height of the building. One more thing to review real quick. So the concept of the inverse function. So if you've got the inverse function of sine, or also known as arc sine, all this really means is it's saying, let me get this written correctly, it's saying that if you know the side ratios, what is the angle? So for example, if I've got a triangle here, and let's say that I've got, I'll just make this a nice easy one for us. Let's say we've got a side of 3, a side of 4, and a side of 5 here. And so we know that the sine of this angle x, so if we're trying to figure out that angle, we know that the sine of that angle x is equal to 4 over 5. So the question becomes, what then is the angle x? And if you plug this into the calculator, the inverse sine of 4/5, it will tell you the angle. So in the calculator, I would click on the inverse sine button and take that of 4/5, and it's going to pop out the angle value. If you're in degree mode, it'll make sense. If not, it won't make any sense at all. And so that's basically what today is. It's reviewing all this. You've got really a 3-page packet. There's not a ton of problems on each page. I'm not trying to overburden you. And I'm going to ask you to work on that in class. And then let's end this video with basically your assignment and your homework. So the first thing you should do when this is over is you should double check that you're caught up on homework. Have you done all the homework that's been assigned? Second thing is I want you to work on pages 1 through 3 from the packet that I've given you. The first page covers the special triangles, and the second page covers inverse functions and some other things that we just went over. And then the third thing is I've got these answers up on the website, so I do want you to self-correct. Now, many of you guys aren't going to finish this in the time allotted. That's fine. We'll finish this in class next week if we need to. But those of you who do get done, go ahead and self-correct. So if you don't get finished with the packet, it's not homework. Okay? The packet does not become homework. It's just practice we're going to be pulling from over the next few days. And then the fourth thing is to make sure you actually do your homework, which is a video assignment or like a tour on law of sines and cosines. So we'll just call it a website. Go to the website, Unit 17, and make sure that's the thing that gets done. That's the thing that gets done by Monday with no exceptions. Thanks, guys. Good luck.